What's up, my Mind Your Money business folks? It's me yet again with another video on today's stock market news. And things took a turn for the worse. After a historic day on yesterday, the Dow slides more than 1,000 points. NASDAQ, S&P 500 just went down. As stocks resume Trump tariff sell-off. So let's get into what the news is saying about the stock market today. Hopefully you guys are having a blessed day. Hopefully you guys are still investing in the market. You're into the market for the long term. As long as you're in it for the long term, do not let what's happening now distract you and keep you from investing, right? So it says U.S. stocks got crushed on Thursday, pulling back from the previous day's historic rally amid concerns that President Trump broad trade offensive has become a direct confrontation with China. And I think a lot of people don't understand the issue with the tariffs. Now, the president may be a bit aggressive with it, but what most Americans may not be aware of is everything is being made in China. China has pretty much, they control the market because the U.S., we used to make things many years ago, but companies started moving their services overseas and they started closing down manufacturing companies in the U.S. And so China pretty much controls the market. But China also has deals with people that don't have the U.S. best interests, right? So the U.S., we consume more, from China than China consumes or buys from us. So that means we spend trillions of dollars buying products from China, and we're deeply indebted to China as well. So, there's just a thing happening with these trade tariffs. And I think over long term, it could hurt China, but it also will hurt the United States. Interest rates may go back up, things may get a little bit more expensive. But the one thing that the U.S. can do, and what it has done many times over, is print money, because we have that ability to do so. So that's the issue. It's a lot deeper than that, but just the gist of it, that's the issue with China. And I would say many U.S. presidents have overlooked this issue, and maybe President Trump could be a little bit more diplomatic about it. But as we know, that's not his style. But this is an issue that needed to be addressed. And Trump is the one addressing it. I'm not a fan. I'm not trying to promote President Trump, but this is what's happening. And that's the reason why it's affecting the market the way that it is. But if you're in the market for the long term, hopefully this will settle down within the next 12 months, right? So again, when others are fearful to buy is when you need to buy. Like, most people are probably staying away from the stock market. They're not buying anything when stocks are at an all-time low. So I say buy the dip, or just continue. You don't have to do it emotionally. Just stay on your plan, stick with whatever you have going on, and continue to dollar cost average into the market. Just be smart about it, or have someone do it on your behalf if you're not able to. So it also says here in the news, the S&P 500 dropped almost 3.5%, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite tumbled 4.3%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell about 1,000 points, or 2.5%. The 10-year Treasury yield, in high focus amid bond market whiplash, ended the day flat at 4.39. So the major averages sank to session lows after the White House confirmed updated tariff figures released on Thursday brings the total increased levies on Chinese goods to 145%, not 125%, as previously stated. It's quite aggressive, but it's all about money, people. At the end of the day, this is all about money. The problem is it's affecting everybody's money. It affects people's money because the price of goods and services may go up. Interest rates are high, so financing things like homes, cars, any type of loan, personal loan, business loans, you're having to pay at a higher interest rate. And that's not good for business or people, right? Except for those that have billions of it. But even they don't like this. I guarantee you they don't like what's happening as well. But it needed to happen, in my opinion. Maybe not in this way, but the issue needed to be addressed because the U.S. is in a lot of debt to China. Everything is being made in China. We need to start making our own goods. Not a lot of things are, yeah, you get the point, right? But either way, Wall Street has been weighing Trump's remarkable escalation in the U.S. trade battle with China while pausing levies on many U.S. trading partners. Remember, China, right? Markets on Wednesday had breathed a loud collective sigh of relief after Trump paused many of the largest U.S. tariff hikes on a list of countries, with stocks notching one of their biggest one-day rallies since World War II. So the trade war is now turning into a direct confrontation between the U.S. and China. We would again be seeing escalation and de-escalation at the same time, pulling markets in different directions, Robobank analysts said, right? And though a wider trade war is on hiatus, risk remains to the health of the U.S. economy, and Trump's move is merely the end of the beginning, according to J.P. Morgan. Other parts of the president's trade policy overhaul are still in effect, including a 10% baseline tariff on most trading partners, 25% duties on steel and aluminum imports, and 25% duties on auto imports. Those elements could still lead to consequences analysts have warned about, such as rising prices and slower economic growth. That is why, people manage your money. Right now in the United States, a lot of people make a lot of money. And in the midst of making a lot of money, we make a lot of foolish mistakes. We live way above our means. We buy things that we don't need. Live smarter, people. So when prices do go up, you can still afford them because you're on a budget. You've lowered your income to debt ratio, or you have no debt. You've gotten rid of the personal loan debt. You've gotten rid of the auto loan debt. You've gotten rid of the student loan debt because you've been making over six figures for like the last 5 to 10, 15, 20 years. So you made smart decisions with your money and you got yourself out of debt. You paid off those credit cards. You cut up 3 of them. Maybe you kept 1, right? But you got rid of the rest of them. You've created a budget where you may only have Netflix, but you got rid of Hulu. You got rid of Disney Plus. You got rid of Peacock. You got rid of all these other things that are not really needed. You kept Wi-Fi, but you got rid of cable, or you kept cable and you got rid of Wi-Fi, however it may be. You start making smarter decisions. You start buying more groceries and you're cooking at home, vice going out to eat. You don't go out as much, to the movies. You stay at home. You may make it an outing that the family has once a month or once every 2 weeks. You do staycations instead of flying out of the country or to another state. You may drive somewhere. You may go camping. You get creative with the things that you do to enjoy life and also save money, because money is important. It's not everything, but it's something that is needed in order to live the life that we're currently living, right? And if you're not making smart decisions, you're never going to have enough, and you're going to always wonder where in the hell it went because you're not tracking it properly. So either way, the last part of the article says the release of March Consumer Price Index showed inflation pressures eased last month, increasing 2.5% on an annualized basis, less than what economists had expected. On a month-to-month basis, prices declined 0.1%, beating economists' estimates of a 0.1% monthly uptick. So yeah, despite what's happening right now in the market, I'm not fazed by it. Again, if you're in the market for the long haul, for the next, let's just say 5, 10, 15 or more years or longer, things like this they're going to happen. It happened in 2008. It happened in 2020. It's happening again. Everything's speeding up because of technology, because of things So it's happening but it's happening now, a lot sooner than others in the past. But things like this happen, and you have to be able to brace the storm. Shelter yourself by making smart decisions, right? So when things like this happen, you don't lose everything. Not all of your eggs are in one basket. You're strategizing, you're making smart moves. You have your emergency fund, or you have, 3 to 6 months of living expenses or more. You may have a year or two. Just depends on your preference and what it is that you and your family desire or need. So when things like this, you're okay. You're okay regardless. And that's the place I would like to see most people, but you have to put yourself there. And putting yourself here in a place where you're good regardless of what happens is not easy. It takes a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of change, and that's the hard part. It's like telling a person who got diagnosed with some type of disease that they need to stop drinking alcoholic beverages or things with a lot of sugar or salt, or stop eating fried food. That is not easy to do for most people. And some of them never give it up. And it takes them out of here. It takes them out of life a lot sooner. And then there are some that make the decision. They stick to the plan, and they fight the cravings, and they get themselves healthier. And the same with money. Making money changes, becoming a millionaire, or just being able to control your money takes a lot of discipline, because the thoughts, your mind has gotten so used to operating a certain way. And whenever you try to change, it's going to tell you that you're stupid. It'll never work for you. Why are you doing this? Go out, have a drink, travel here, post these pictures on the internet to make it seem like, to show everyone that you're living such a great life, even though you only have $100 in your bank account after that trip, and you have thousands of dollars in credit card debt, and you have $50,000 in student loan debt, you have a $20,000 car loan debt, and you're living paycheck to paycheck. And that's a lot of people's places. Not everyone, but a lot of people's places. And then there are some people that just aren't doing anything. They're just living. So they just take what they get, even though it sucks. So yeah, so let's see what the stocks did today. So Broadcom lost $12.85 today, closing out at $172.30. So it looks like the gains that were made yesterday, or half of the gains, were lost today, right? Tesla closed at $252.40, losing $19.80 today. Nvidia closed at $107.57, losing $6.76. Palantir closed at $88.59, losing $3.42. My information technology ETF, FTEC, lost $7.61 today, closing out at $151.53. It's still on sale, people. Buy the dip. When others are afraid to buy is when you need to buy. And when everyone is buying is when you just need to hold off. That's what Warren Buffett said, or he said something to that effect. And my S&P 500 ETF, SPLG, lost $2.21 today, closing out at $61.70. And that's it, people. These stocks are still on discount. There's nothing wrong with these companies. I'm continuing to buy these stocks on a dollar cost average monthly basis. I don't plan to stop because I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not trying to invest for 1 year and hoping to strike gold and make millions of dollars. No, this is a journey. It's not, it's just a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? And it takes time, and I understand that, and I control my emotions. And yeah, so that's it. So like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Let me know what you guys think. If you think if you think anything at all, because I would like to know. Oh, if any of you are a day trader, hit me up. Day traders are making a ton of money right now. Whew. But yeah, disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, nor am I pretending to be one. So any and all information on my channel and in my videos are for entertainment purposes only. So please consult with a financial advisor before you invest any of your hard-earned money, if you're incapable of doing it on your own. All right, so you guys take care. Have a blessed day.